Time goes ticking on.
Okay, it's Mark, and let me check to make sure. Yep, okay, the audio is working, it seems like. And so I'm going to move some things around on the screen here. Let's see, get rid of that. Move this over here. And this over here so I can see the chat. And then turn on Krita. And let's see. Okay, looks like 102. There we go. All right. So anyway, it's Mark, and so it's another episode of our live chat, and it is January 25th, 2017 already, and it seems like time is flying by as usual. I've been staying pretty creative, working on projects, and that includes making new armature kits and making molds and working on the web pages and all kinds of stuff. So this is some of the stuff that we did, I guess, in the last what, 2 weeks, or 3 weeks. We made these characters. We've got the mother character and also an extra character. And so tonight we've got to design the 3 kids. So as you can tell, you know, these characters are very simple. There's not a lot to them. But I do want to make sure that, let me look at my reference sheet over here. I've got some papers where I've already designed the characters roughly, but of course, oops, it helps to reference them a little bit. If I can find where I put the pictures. Where was it? There we go. Okay. I thought I lost it. So the kid characters are going to be really simple. They're just like, you know, the other characters, like the mother here. So we're going to have some large heads and simple body shapes. And the kids are going to be, we've got to, hey, welcome Mark, and welcome back Ron. Thanks for posting the reminders. So yeah, we got these little kid characters to make now, and I'm thinking how these characters move is important to think of ahead of time. So I'm gonna just kind of get in here and maybe sketch a few things. Let me make sure the layer is correct. Yep. Okay, so the kid's gonna have a little round head and like a body that's kind of stubby, like this. And round. So this is kind of like, you know, if ever you've studied animation, a lot of the Disney animators used to design these characters that are just like a potato sack or a sack of flour. And you can, you know, animate this sack of flour in such a way that, you know, it looks like it's really alive. This is kind of like, you know, this is a really simple character, and most of the emotion in this character, or these characters, these kids, is it's going to be through the motions of their body. So I think we'll have a lot of like squash and stretch. And I did some pre-animation stuff on paper to kind of figure out how these little guys will get around, and they're gonna get around kind of like squirrels. And I think that they're gonna have these their feet will be kind of like tucked into their clothing, and they'll have like, you know, little tails or something. I don't know if I want to do that or not. It seems kind of weird in a way, but you know, like mothers will kind of wrap their kids in a blanket, and that's kind of the idea. But I don't really know if I want to make it, how I want to make it look exactly. So I'm kind of just brainstorming, and I'm going to sketch here and figure it out as I go. You know, whatever looks right is what I'm going to do. And so the other thing with these kids is that their arms are going to be, they're simple, and they're going to be stretching outward towards the ground, and they're going to be playing with little kids' toys in the beginning of the film. So they're going to be like a ball, maybe a top, and like a train and stuff. Hey, Hoserloo. Welcome back. Welcome back, everybody. All right, so the little kid's going to be, they're all going to have the same bodies. They're all going to have the same heads. Their clothing will be identical in color. And the reason for that is that this film has no budget. You know, it's weird that the eraser, it smudges stuff. Why is that? Why are you smudging? Let me see if I can. It's kind of weird. Krita is a weird program. You know, a lot of people have a lot of complaints about the latest version. especially with the Wacom tablets like me. It's a big problem with Krita right now. Let's see, arm needs to be like this. There we go. I think I had like a smudgy eraser selected or something for my Wacom pen there. But anyway, so these characters, these little kids, are going to be able to grab the ground, and I think the toys will be about this high off the ground, you know, so this tall. So if there's like a little train like this, you know, they can reach it. And their arms are going to be stretchable, you know, and the cool part about doing 2D clay on glass animation is that you can stretch stuff around, and gravity's not an issue because these characters will be flat on the glass, and they're only going to be under 1/4 of an inch thick. So I can make their arms stretch out, and that's going to be, you know, an important thing. And the bodies, of course. So they're going to kind of get around like with these little, their blankets that are wrapped around them. Like they have little tails that kind of work like accordions. So I'll make a series of replacements and maybe make molds of all the replacements, and then I can just you know, duplicate that with the molds for all the characters, so they'll all have like a uniformity to them. And you know, like when I put the characters on the glass, I'm probably going to you know, change things up slightly with them. Like I'll probably take some tools, sculpting tools, and sculpt things just ever so differently for each character, you know. That's the goal. And also their hair is going to be different. And that's one of the things I don't know if I mentioned. So like this character, I think maybe I drew his hair kind of like this, like a pigtail kind of a thing. And then maybe one kid will have a full head of hair, and then the other kid will be I could have a bald one too, like you know, some kids, they have like hardly any hair at all. So that might be kind of one of the characters that I add as well. So kind of puffy, kind of pillowy, and something like that. Like I said, very simple characters. The joy of painting with Krita, yes. We're gonna make some happy accidents tonight. It's actually all one gigantic accident, but we're happy about it. Alright, so now I'm gonna go to my layers. Let me see here. So let's add a layer underneath this layer, and then just pick a random color and make sure that, let's make the brush size big. Okay, so see what I can do. I can just color behind my my lines here. So I'm going to go over to the mother, and since it is her genetic profile for these children, oh, gotta use the mouse to select colors though. That's really weird about Krita. Oops. So we're going to use your genes and paste them over into here. Yeah, you know, Bob Ross, you know, the guy you're kind of joking about. I think it's Bob Ross, right? Mr. Happy Accidents and all that. Somebody posted a photo of his grave somewhere. I think it was on Reddit. And, you know, a lot of people loved that guy. And, like, and I mean, for good reason. He was a really nice guy. But they, people put, like, paintbrushes on his little, you know, gravestone. It's not like some immense gravestone. It's really like a humble little gravestone. And I think it was his brother that kind of took over his business. And if you go to the craft stores, you can still buy like paint kits for his teachings and stuff. When I was a kid, you know, we had like this public TV station, and that was one of the TV shows I watched all the time, and I thought, wow, these are the most amazing paintings in the world, you know. And to be honest, Bob Ross was not like a super expert painter. Like when you get older, you see other people and they just blow Bob Ross away. Like he's, not so amazing. But what was cool about Bob Ross more was about his character and his kind of like openness and acceptance of pretty much all artists, and it didn't matter if you were good or bad. You're just like he's just teaching you like not to be hard on yourself when you painted, right? He's like, don't worry about it. If it doesn't look perfect, it's okay. That's like where the term happy accidents came from. He's like trying to teach people not to worry about being a perfectionist in their art. And the majority of people, like if you're not born with an artistic talent, if you can paint on the level of Bob Ross, it's a huge accomplishment. And I still can't paint like Bob Ross. I really stink at painting. I can do kind of like almost like more abstract stuff, and I understand a little bit about painting, but yeah, I mean, it's pretty cool. Like just some people are so nice that you just. I think even if Bob Ross couldn't paint, if he just talked and like did like tic-tac-toe on a big palette or something, or a canvas, you'd be like, whoa. Okay, so the E key, let's try it. Let me see. Yep. Yeah, you're right, it works. Then how do you select your brush again? Is there like a B or something? Hit E again to paint again. Let's see. E. Oh yeah, I see that. That's cool. That's good to know. But the trick that I use is I just why are you doing that, Krita? Yeah, this is what happens with Krita. With your Wacom tablet, if you use one, you just I just realized you guys probably can't see. This isn't really centered on there. There we go. With your Wacom tablet, if you turn your Wacom tablet around, there's another, what do you call it? Another sort of pen tip, which looks fatter and it's gray. At least on mine. I have a Wacom Intuos, and you turn it around and it behaves like an eraser. You can, and I think I could probably select different brushes here in the side, which you can't see. It's over there somewhere. I could probably select other brushes. Let's try to get this. Try to move this over so you guys can see it. All right. So you see how my cursor changes? It's big and fat, right? And then if I turn it over, it is small, and then I can draw with it. So it's kind of convenient to do it that way, but it's good to know the shortcut keys too. That's great. I think with programs like ZBrush, that's really extremely helpful to know your shortcut keys if you guys ever use ZBrush. Alright, so the mother, let's see here. I want to use, well, I think that I'm just gonna go with, let's go with this, and I'm gonna lighten up our yellow a bit. See what this looks like. Oh, oops, alright. I'll go back here again. Okay. So, just painting this face, the colors, what I want to do is I want to work on some highlights and make this have a little bit more depth than it does. Because right now this little kid is really, not even sure if I like this color yellow. Like what? Well, that's okay. I might do some experimenting with the clay itself and pick a yellow that's nicer than this, and then like just use this as a way to gauge depth. So give him some cheeks. Let's see here. Thomas Kincaid. Yeah, you want? I can tell you a story about Thomas Kincaid that I had over the weekend. We went to Branson, Missouri, and they sell some reproductions of his work. And when I say reproductions, what I mean is, where's my zoom level? Where'd it go? I have to make this big again. Here we go. And I don't know where the reproductions were made, but the way that they made them was, make this bigger. All right, Krita. Krita is distracting me from my story. But they had reproductions, and these reproductions were made life-size. So they look like full paintings. When you see it from a distance, it was like, each one is maybe, 24 by 30 inches or something like that. And let's see what this looks like here. This would have been a nicer yellow. I think this I'm gonna color the whole head with this yellow. I think I need to mess around with this just a little bit because it's too. We're gonna redo all this. Yeah. All right. So Thomas Kincaid. So they had these large paintings, and they were on the walls, and I thought, whoa, they actually looked like the most beautiful paintings you've ever seen. And at first I was like, oh. So I look at it up close, and it's signed by Thomas Kincaid, right? So I look at it a little bit closer, and it has real paint on the canvas. And it has a real signature by Thomas Kincaid. But I look really, really, really close at the painting, right? Because I'm like, these are amazing. Is it real? Is it fake? How do they do this? Well, when I looked really super close, you can see that it was a kind of print, right? So it was like they had a machine that printed it out on the canvas. And there's little teeny, teeny, tiny dots. And the resolution was really good, right? So you almost couldn't tell, but it was flat. But the weird thing was there were like these highlights on some of the painted parts that looked like they stuck out, and it was real paint. So what they had just done essentially was to embellish a print with real paint. But you know what? It looks so awesome. Like the colors were so vibrant, and the sun in some of them, I mean, absolutely amazing. Like it was nothing like you've ever seen. Like, you see Thomas Kincaid in print, or you see, like they sell things like, what do you call them? Like, posters, and they sell, oops, that's too much there. Go back here. They sell, puzzles and things like that, and it's his stuff is in magazines and all that kind of stuff. But these prints were really amazing. They sold for like over $2,000, and they were hand signed by him and all that kind of stuff. Really super amazing. I mean, but the fact that they were fake, kind of like, you're just like, it's made in a factory or something. Maybe. Like, you don't know where. Is it made in China, or like where? So I don't know, but from a distance, from about 2 foot away and further, it looked like the real deal. Just so amazing. Is that what they call it? A glisse print? Maybe that is what it is. It was great. And then they also put like a coating of, like what an artist does. You put like the varnish over the top, so it has kind of like a um, like that sort of painterly look to it. Yeah, it was just, I mean, I wanted to buy one. I was like, that would look so, I mean, and just cool to look at every day. But yeah, $3,000? No thanks. A little too expensive for me. Yeah, exactly, Robert. So it's like they have, like they had on the trees, the highlights were in there, and you could really. This is horrible. Let me see here. 6. But that was the first time I ever saw one of those. I mean, I never had seen one of those sold like in the store anywhere. But Branson, Missouri has some really weird things. Like, we went into one store that was like a Christmas, an all year round place. You can buy like Christmas anything, ornaments, and you could buy trees and whatever, anything related to Christmas, like gigantic Santa Clauses that have been sculpted out of, fiberglass, or, cast in fiberglass, or, you know, some of the stuff was pretty bizarre. I mean, some of that stuff isn't for Christmas time. Like when they make a Santa Claus with a latex face, sometimes you're looking at it and it's kind of halfway realistic and it looks creepy. But, oops, I'm on the wrong layer. I need to go to the other layer here. Make sure that, yep, okay. But one of my clients that I'm working for, I'm sculpting some Disney stuff for him. And he wants a Goofy sculpted. And he wants it to be, like as close to, I guess, the Disney version of Goofy as possible. So we go to this Christmas shop, and there's this woman that works there. And so I see on the wall, there's a life-size Goofy that looks really good. Like somebody had sculpted it out of clay, cast it, sanded it, painted it, and they put like it's a hard body and face, but they put real clothes on it and everything. So my client has this Christmas display, and that's exactly what he does. Is he dresses up his sculptures, he paints them and casts them and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, well, that's what he wants, and he wants to hire me to sculpt it. But I mean, here it is, and so I thought he would be ecstatic that I found a Goofy. So I asked the woman that works there about it. I said, "Can you tell me about that Goofy sculpture on your wall?" It was like up towards the ceiling, like hanging off the wall. And she's like, "Oh yeah, well the owner of this store was the second in command to the CEO at this Disney theme park." And I forget what theme park it was. I hadn't heard of it, but it's Disney. It's like, I'm thinking to myself, that's the real deal. That's a real Disney sculpture by who knows who made it, but that's probably as close as you can get to Goofy. And they only wanted $400 for it. They had marked it down from $900. I'm like, that's a steal, because my client, I would probably charge him, more than that, just to cast it and everything myself. And he wants like 2 of them. So I told my client and showed it to my client, and he didn't like it. And I'm like, oh, okay. I was gonna go pick it up for him, and ship it off to him because he wanted it. And he's like, I like your work better than that, Mark. He said, I don't like the way the mouth looks. I'm like, wow. I don't know if I'm that good of a sculptor. I know I'm pretty good, I guess, but to think that he likes my work better than a real Disney sculpture, it's like, okay. But it's kind of cool the people that you can meet in some of these places. You just start talking to them and they're just like, yeah, you know, the owner of the store worked for Disney, and you know, I don't know. It's just kind of, it's a small world after all. Maybe that's why they made that song for, in you know, the Disney theme parks. Let's see here. So I think I need to work a little bit more broadly with my colors here. I realized that I'm like using a small brush and I need to expand, but so let's see here. Just reading your comments. So Ron says, can't you alter the color of the layer? I do that in Photoshop, so I don't have to paint it over again. I mean, change the hue with the slider. Oh yeah, you that's all. I'm doing that over here. You guys can't see it. Let me see. So I'm kind of going in here, and there's these sliders here. So yeah, I am actually changing the color that way. It's the same as in Photoshop with Krita. They're very close in the way that they work. And so Robert says, sorry, Glisse prints, adding the highlights really make the prints nice. Unfortunately, his actual works are horrible and creepy as hell when you recognize all the buildings merrily burning down. Maybe I'm thinking of the wrong person. Thomas Kincaid? Oh, let me see. Maybe I am. Let me look over here on Google real quick. No, maybe I'm wrong about that. No, it's Buildings Burning Down. No, Thomas Kincaid, Painter of Light. No. There's Buildings Burning Down. Let me show you guys a photo of the artist that I've been talking about that I found in Branson here. So, oh, come on now. All right, so they had all of these. Yeah, just quickly, I'm gonna put this over here. I know my internet's really not very nice right now. But these are the paintings, and they're all... I imagine that this site probably sells the same paintings because... And ironically, he's got some Disney stuff in here. He's got a whole thing of Disney art. And I'm not really sure if he passed away recently. I thought I heard that he might have passed away. But yeah, these are kind of the things that you'll... I'm hoping that this one, his site will load faster here because this is way slow. Let me try to find a better example real quick. Could be because my internet's just acting slow right now. But his site is all Flash based, which is extremely slow. Okay. Yeah, like this one. Alright, so here's one of his paintings. So you can see, you know, this is really, when you see this in real life, it doesn't do this any justice. I mean, this looks like mud, you know, compared to the real deal that I saw. I mean, like all these lighter areas really popped out in his paintings, you know. So anyway, I don't know about the burning houses or whatever. Maybe there's another person by the same name. That could be, right? Another artist. Oh, okay. Glowing brightly, yeah. So anyway, let me see what we've got. We've got about, all right, 30 minutes left. That's good. So here's our little baby, and I'm gonna go a little bit darker with the colors just to get some more shadows in here, and then highlight this. Where's my brush size? There we go. Oops. He had a drinking problem, hence the moniker, the painter of Bud Light. Really? I didn't know. Maybe he did. A lot of artists, you know, that's one of the things that happens. starving artists, you need to drink to solve your problems. You don't have to, but some people do that. Yeah. A lot of people that are thinkers, a lot of big thinkers are like that. You know, thinkers are drinkers. A lot of people in academia and philosophy and all that kind of stuff. Let's see here. So I should probably... Now there's like a brush and blend kind of thing here. I know there are certain brushes that work really great for blending. I don't know if it's this one. It's always kind of a mystery. Yeah, these kind of does something. Smudge brushes are weird. Like, you gotta smudge it outwardly. That doesn't look nice. Ooh, no. That's not gonna be it. DVAD version 8. This might work. No. That's alright. I'm gonna go back to the regular brush. Let me see. Where was it? Here. Alright. Let's zoom in again as well. Strangely enough, I was just gonna say that my Wacom tablet was working well, but it's not really. Alright. Get some deeper shadows here. How's that look? Yeah. I need to get some highlights. It's definitely not dead, Krita. It's not dead. But it could be. Oh, live? Live, not alive? I thought you meant alive. Nope. It's not live. I don't know if this is gonna look nice, but let's kind of... There we go, something like that. I think that might be too light. Too light. I'm gonna go back to my pen and just make it a little bit lighter. I hope it's not dead. I'm still alive. I'm still making live shows every week. You need to take my Wacom pen from my cold, dead hands. Charlton Heston, you know, some people take life so seriously and they have such a character. It's kind of funny. Some people are just naturally funny. That's better. This is a better color. See, I was making the highlights too light before. I don't want to make it too extreme. Now, this is kind of like how I painted most of my Warhammer figures when I used to paint those. Those are actually pretty cool things to paint. They're really fun. I don't know if any of you guys ever paint and gals have painted you know, figures like that, but just a little bit here. Seems almost like that's darker than that. How can that be? Alright. And what's the difference between Krita and Sketchbook? Well, You just gotta try them both and see for yourself. Sketchbook is lightweight, I guess you could say. There's not much to it. I mean, you can do a lot with it, but it's not really as. I think this probably, you can't do animation in there. I don't think. That's one of the major things. Animation in Sketchbook, I don't think can be done, and then you can do that with Krita. So I could pre-animate most of my scenes if I wanted to in here, as a two-dimensional, two-dimensional objects and stuff. And let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna go to black. Bring my brush size down, and I'm gonna detail some of these parts a little bit. Can the Wacom Pro tablet sense rotation as well as tilt? Well, I don't know. I'm not really sure. Would rotation really matter? Does it... I mean, that would be kind of cool if it could. Yeah, like if you have like a brush that's angled or something. I know with the brushes in here, let me see. They've got like DVAD 8. So where was the one brush? So you've got like this one. So if I spin my... Oh, I had my tablet backwards. Let me do this. Select eraser again for that one. And then for this... Sorry, I'm kind of... Where was it? So here's like a... What do you call it? A brush that's long, like a paintbrush. And it seems like you can... As I rotate my pen around... Let me see if it's actually doing it. Yeah, I don't think rotating the pen... See, it's pressure sensitive, but yeah, if I spin my pen around on the tip of the Wacom tablet, it doesn't spin the brush. But if I make a small circular motion, it kind of spins it around. So I guess you can spin it around, and then when you're happy with it, make your stroke that way. So I'm gonna spin it this way, and yeah, that's kind of how it works. I think that might be the way that they designed Krita to behave, So I'm not really sure if Krita would recognize you spinning it. So what layer am I on again? I'm on this layer, okay. And brush size. So just going to add little details in here because I don't want these characters to be so simple that they're boring, I want to have some character here. So now that I've got some of this stuff sketched in better, come back in here and like make it more concrete. Something like that, and then erase. Whoop! I get my eraser. Make the size smaller. So yeah, I mean, Sketchbook's really good. Like one of my friends, I introduced her to Sketchbook for her tablet, and you can do some really cool stuff on a tablet with that. And one of the cool things, like if you like to draw faces or characters from the front view, if you want like to do a character design that's more like a schematic, it has like a feature where, what's the word I'm looking for? It has like a symmetry thing. So there's a line down the center of your drawing, and you draw one side, and the other side is automatically drawn. And I'm sure that Krita also has something like that, you know, in there. I'm pretty sure it does. I don't think I've messed with it because I don't really want it to be, you know, robotic. Like I kind of want the differences on each side of my drawings, but let's see here. Oh, erased part of the hand there. So let's see. I don't know if that's good. This is good for all this stuff here is kind of. I should have probably made that nicer before. Let's see. Do you generally speaking, genuine stuff works best? You'll have to rephrase that question, Cordista. I don't know what you mean exactly. Beard says he doesn't know about rotation, but he says that the tilt does. That's pretty cool. Yeah, they're getting really complex. It's kind of... Yeah, so could probably give them like little dimples or something like that here, maybe. I think dimples would be good for these little kids, because kids always have chubby cheeks. So I think dimples in the sides here would be nice, and maybe a little lower lip thing going on, and we could have just a little baby chin. Like little kids don't, if you ever notice, like little babies, they don't have necks. It's like one line, just like this, even in real life. They're kind of like cartoon characters as they are. So let me zoom out and just see what this looks like. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if I like this belly part 100%. So Robert says, I know it will recognize the amount of tilt and direction. I used rotation as well way back when doing some 3D modeling in a school lab with a Wacom, but it was really niche usage. That's kind of interesting. Seems like it would almost be a little hard to do that, like spinning your pen around to get a certain angle. But I think that's better than the way that they're doing it here, where you do that and you had to like rotate your pen in a circle, and it yeah, I don't know if that's, I think that way would be best. So yeah, I don't know, I think I'll just kind of like do some cross hatching in the bottom here, just to, I know that I've added some shading color wise, but I think I'm just gonna do this. I'm gonna keep the hands simple like this. I'm not even gonna do any fingers. Like I say, they're gonna be small, and let's see here. I almost want to give them ears, you know, but they're emojis technically, so I think emojis don't really have ears. So I've got this. I think this character is basically done here. I think there's not much more to add to him. You know, he's pretty darn simple. Simple character. So whatever. Add some lines in there. Yeah, that's good. Maybe erase this a bit. It's not so nice. Sharpen up that there a bit. Okay. So we got about a little close to 15 minutes. I am going to, let's see, duplicate layer. And then move it over. And then duplicate layer. Move it to the other side. So I've got 3. You guys could think, oh, you can see all 3 too. Okay. And then I'm going to duplicate the colored layer. Now he's a clone. I've cloned the babies. You're now cloned, baby. I can have a baby army if I want to. Alright, so baby number 1 needs a haircut. So I'm going to move this over. So like I said, they're all going to be the same. And I could focus on maybe next week some expression changes for each one of these. You know, because you know, there's going to be like, you know, sad look and kind of like a trying to think. Oop, I gotta select the correct layer again. Where are we at here? This layer. Yep. So one will be bald, one will have curly Q hair, and this one, although I'm erasing his hair, I think I might give him a lot of hair, like some kind of a, could be a little girl one, like maybe maybe like the mother. It can have some kind of a similar shaped outer hairstyle, like what you see here, but straight across. What should I do? What should I do with this baby here? One thing that's kind of bugging me is that I want to do is I want to add some shadow. It's like a little bit of an OCD thing, but let me zoom in. These babies need some shadows under them. I'll make that bigger brush. All right, there we go. That'll work. And I think it was this one. Yep. You guys have any suggestions for hair? So let's see. So Beard is asking Robert about, was it a Cintiq or Intuos? And Robert says it was the Intuos, but 2 or more generations back they may have gone for higher sensitivity and dropped sensing rotation if it wasn't being used. Yeah, they always change their stuff, you know, but I think the sensitivity is definitely more now than ever for Wacom tablets. This one here. Now the clay, I don't want to make this character so complicated that each replacement head or face that I make is going to require a lot of work. I can just do like a could even be, I don't know if that would be nice. Maybe like this one's got lots of hair, you know. but simple shapes that I could easily sculpt. So that might be okay. I don't want them to look old though, you know, that's the thing. So I gotta kind of balance this. Maybe even like hair that's almost like maybe brown. What color? Maybe like this color. Or blonde. Well, if it's blonde, it'd be like the same as the face. So, I don't want it to be orange, because that's what the other characters are. So maybe like this. Let's see. No. Nope. 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 What does that look like? I'm just gonna do something here. I don't know what I'm doing, but let's see what it looks like. Just trying to see the shape. Give her a bow like Minnie. That's a good idea. So let me see, where's the colored version here? This is this layer. Let's see what adding some lips, red lips like the mother, because the mother looks like this. So let's go with some red lips for a girl, or reddish, or it's more like orange. You guys can't see, I'm trying to find a color that's suitable on the side. And maybe like that. Pretty simple. Trying to, it can't be too small of a detail though, because these are going to be small for me to sculpt. So maybe a little bit bigger lips. Something about like that, I think. Wouldn't be too hard to get in there. And so a bow. Let's see. It's back to black. Oh, what are you doing there, Krita? I'm not grouping anything here. What are we doing here? Okay, there we go. So gonna need some hair too though, right? Because so bow. Something like that, maybe. Wouldn't be too bad. It's not such a bad thing. Let's see. Alright. Let's see if I can draw it nicer though, because my sketching there is kind of cheesy. I can always erase the bad sketch parts, so yeah. I am not the greatest artist, that is for sure. It amazes me how people can draw so well. Most I can do is simple things. Like this. I don't know. I think that the center part of the bow is too large there, so I'm just gonna delete you. I'm gonna erase this part. Alright, go back here again. And yeah, that's better. It's more like a cute bow. Am I right? Maybe. Something like this. Alright, so let's look at all of them together just to see how this would look side by side. Where is the prognosis? I think if it was on the side part, like here, would that be better? Well, I don't know. Maybe maybe I'll just finish it up and just see what it looks like, and you can always change it next time. So, because time is running out, so let's kind of just get in here and try to finish up, and make sure I'm on the correct layer. I think I'm gonna make another layer just for the bow. What's a good color? Maybe like pink, because her mother kind of has this kind of purplish color. So let's go with purple. This way you can kind of tell, like just watching the film, like you instantly know, oh, that must be her kid, you know. Has the same color bow. Let's see if it works. Yep, there we go. I mean, I probably shouldn't be too picky about the shape, because when I sculpt it, it's gonna be... It's so much easier for me to visualize stuff sculpted. It's like you sculpt it, you stick it on, you pinch it here and on the sides or the corners, and then you're like, oh. You know, you just know somehow. I don't know how I know, but you can just like tell, oh, that looks better that way, you know, if I pinch it there. Or that's too big, or that's too small. I think this looks pretty good, though. Thank you, Janet, for the tip. For the advice there. See, that is what is cool about the live shows. If I am short on ideas, it's like a group effort. I should definitely, in the credits, credit everybody that comes to the chat for hanging out while I work on this film project. Alright, so I'll just kind of do a quick, what do you call it, darken up these parts a little bit. I'm not gonna really make this too beautiful or anything. Although I should probably take my time, because if we do something here. I would definitely like to get another Wacom tablet if I could afford it one of these days. Because I mean, I use this little one that I have a lot, but it's so small, and I think if I have a bigger one, it would allow for better details and stuff. Like if I'm doing sculpting with my Wacom, I think the details... Let me change the slider here. Could potentially be nicer, you know. This is a better color. All right, that's a lot nicer. And let's see, let's make this darker. Kind of put some shadows underneath here. All right, so we got the cutesy girl baby. We've got the bald baby and the baby that has the very bizarre spring-like individual hair. But this will make each character somewhat unique, you know, easy to reproduce and, you know, simple to sculpt, so it won't take too long. Also cut down on the amount of silicone I need for mold making purposes, because one mold will make 3 heads. So yeah, anyway, I guess that concludes tonight's show. I am going to save this after the show. I'm not going to forget to do that because I'll lose all my work. Yeah, so I think pretty soon, let's see, we've got like, how many more characters to design? Probably, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, about 5 more characters to design, and then we can get on to sculpting. And for that, I'm going to set up my camera, and I'm going to take these designs and print them out the proper size, and we're going to do that together, and maybe even make molds together and stuff too. So it's going to take a long time to do, but films like this do, and especially when I'm only working 1 hour per week on it. But at least you guys can see the process, and hopefully you guys have some fun watching, and it's always fun to read your comments. So I will see you guys all next week. See you all later.